So, some of you may have already heard about this book. It's called it's called uh, Brenda's Beaver Needs a Barber, and I know different people have actually read this online. Some of you may have heard of it. Some of you may not. And it's a woman called Brenda who has a pet beaver, and apparently it needs a barber. So I'm going to read you the story. I'm not sure whether it's a child's story or whether it is a child's story, and us adults have just got disgusting minds. But yeah, I'm going to read it to you. So Brenda's beaver needs a barber. Brenda has a beaver. Brenda has a beaver, and she's ready to confess. As soft and sweet as it may be, her beaver is a mess. Brenda's beaver's big. Brenda's beaver's hairy. Every guy who sees it says that Brenda's beaver is scary. Brenda took her beaver for a swim down at the lake. By the looks that she received, she figured that was a mistake. She stuffed that furry mound into a swimming suit, a swimming costume. It stuck out all around. It was anything but cute. Some who saw it laughed, others were just stunned. Brenda's beaver was hanging out, soaking in the sun. Her friends could not believe her. They said, "We need to talk." They covered up her beaver and they took her for a walk. "Brenda dear, listen here. We want to help you out. Your beaver needs a makeover. It really needs it now." "I hope we don't seem pushy," said her biker friend named Kim. "Your beaver is too bushy. We just think it needs a trim." Savannah pulled her beaver back to show off what she'd done. "Hers has a nice long landing patch. It looks like it would be fun." "Chrissy's beaver is quite rare. It could be worth $1 million. "Hers is bare. It has no hair. Her beaver is Brazilian." Catherine let her beaver loose. She said, "There's nothing to it. Grab some clippers and a can of mousse. We'll show you how to do it." Kim produced some scissors, and Chrissy had some wax. Now all that Brenda had to do was sit back and relax. As they came towards her beaver, they said, "Now don't be scared. We're going to see what's underneath that frumpy pile of hair." It ended in just minutes. They didn't leave her much. When Brenda's friends were finished, she and her beaver blushed. Her beaver was so tiny. Her beaver was so tiny. They could not believe their eyes. It was smooth and it was shiny. It was hard to recognize. Now Brenda is so proud. It seems like every time we see her, she's in the center of a crowd, just showing off her beaver. I've just noticed Mr. Moose in the background. Enjoying his bedtime story. Moosey, did you enjoy that? Well, that was quite funny. And I know that, like I say, a lot of you have heard that before. You may not have heard it before. But, yeah, while I looked at that, I found another one. It's called, and I can't believe this is a children's story, but it's called Put Tony's Nuts in Your Mouth. Well, there's a picture of Tony who's got a little stall on the side of the road. And he's selling nuts, all sorts of nuts. And this is a little story. Why it's called Put Tony's Nuts in Your Mouth? Well, I suppose you buy his nuts and you put them in your mouth. So here we go. Tony has big nuts. And small nuts. He has small nuts as well. He has pecans and walnuts. Nuts with or without a shell. There is no nut that Tony does not sell. Tony sells his nuts all day. He always has a line of people. People are queuing up for his nuts. Famous nuts. Some say Tony's nuts smell great. Some say they taste divine. They drive or walk or ride the bus. They come from north and south to take those hot and salty nuts and put them in their mouth. Seriously, what the fuck? Tony dips his chocolate nuts until they are just right. He knows your mum will take them home and suckle them on them all night. What the hell? BJ looks at Tony's nuts and tries hard not to stare. As Stephen grabs at his nutsack and finds a big old pear. BJ plays with Tony Nuts in the closet in his house. Grandpa says he should just come out as he pops one in his mouth. Grandpa likes to go in there and take his camera with him. He loves to look at photographs when Tony's nuts are in them. He swears it isn't weird or queer. He says it's not a crime. Grandpa licks the salt right off of Tony's nuts sometimes. Good old Grandpa. The girls too like Tony's nuts. Of this there is no doubt. Every girl around this town has put them in their mouth. On the way to school today, riding on the bus, the Johnson twins were in the back, sharing Tony's nuts. Back and forth they open up, hoping that they don't get those big and tasty nuts stuck down in their throat. Even Mrs. Bulldike, the softball coach, and her special friend will have a go at Tony's nuts every now and again. There really is no argument. Mount Rushmore ought to be a monument of Tony's nuts for all the world to see. So there we have it. A little story about Brenda's beaver and Tony's nuts. What can I say? I cannot say any more.